Hello, fans. Welcome back to the channel, back here on YouTube, doing the 2025 NFL predictions, week 17. As we get into it, 7 good games, all starting with action on Thursday, Christmas Day. Let's get on into it with the first of two games here for Christmas Day. Detroit Lions headed to Minnesota, taking the Vikings. You have Jared Goff, the Lions, a team that is not done in the playoff picture yet, still have a chance, but barely. Playing the Vikings on the road. Vikings have a young quarterback, a rookie, out of the University of Minnesota, who only started last year in Minnesota. But for the Vikings, it's a tough. They're pretty much eliminated. Lions still have a chance, but barely. We'll have to wait and see on Christmas Day how this one turns out. This is the second game of the day that's on Netflix. We're talking about. I'm looking at it. I think the Lions have a chance. Lions, I do think, will get the win though in Minnesota. I think it's gonna be tough for the Vikings to even get a win here on Thursday. So with that being said, start us out. Let's give me the Lions for a huge win on Christmas Day to start out week 17 for my predictions. As we move on to the next one, Under the Lights on Amazon Prime on Thursday and Christmas night. You have the Denver Broncos, Bo Nix, first place Broncos, who are hot lately. They're going into Kansas City to play the Chiefs and the Patrick Mahomes Chiefs. Patrick Mahomes done for the year. Travis Kelce still there though. Question about this matchup is who gets the win. And you can say this about the Broncos. Broncos are a fun team to watch. They're really good. Bo Nix is really accurate in his team. For the Chiefs, they're without Gardner Minshew, who went down. Might be out. Who knows if he is. He did avoid ACL injury. But with Mahomes and Minshew's out, it's Chris Olakun, a rookie quarterback who has not started much. They did sign Shane Buechele, a former Chiefs practice squad quarterback. And he'll be there this week, hopefully, for the Chiefs. I think it'll get some reps. Who knows how it's going to play out with the quarterback mixture. But for Kansas City Chiefs, you can just pretty much throw away the season and focus on 2026. And also the Broncos, they have a chance to be number one seed, but there's also fight for the number one seed. Multiple teams that can still get it at the moment. Pretty much 5 teams in play, maybe 6 teams in play for the AFC to get the number one seed. But if you ask me what I think the Broncos go on the road and get a huge road win in Kansas City on Thursday night, on Christmas night. So we're the Broncos here on Thursday night. As we move on to the Houston Texans, CJ Stroud, they head to LA to play the Chargers. Justin Herbert, the Chargers, their chances potentially to win a spot in the AFC West. They could still also potentially, I believe the Chargers and the Texans both still have a chance to get a number one seed. Both in play for all teams in the AFC except for the lower half. But if you look at it, Texans-Chargers, I think this matchup on Sunday could be this game here on Saturday could be a really good game to see. For the Chargers, on their hand, they have Justin Herbert, who's a good quarterback. For the Texans, CJ Stroud, the Texans, they've been a playoff team before, but they need to hope to get wins if they can get past Jacksonville. Jacksonville's going to be the team that's everyone's focusing their hands on. Indianapolis and Phillip Rivers, they have a slim chance, but who knows right now at the moment after their loss last night to San Francisco. Overall, I think the Chargers, as always, it's SoFi Stadium is a hard place to go on the road and play in. I think it's going to be tough for the Texans. With that being said, I think the Chargers and Justin Herbert find a way to get the job done on Saturday afternoon. So give me the Chargers and Justin Herbert in the first one. Moving on to Green Bay, Baltimore Ravens, Lamar Jackson. Ravens still have a chance, but barely in the AFC North. They head to Green Bay on Saturday night. Under the Lights, a game that should be interesting to see. Jordan Love of the Packers coming on a loss to the Bears, a tough loss to the Bears. Packers, though, still have a chance to win that NFC North if things come line up. If the Bears end up losing the rest of the way, I think it's going to be tough for that to happen. Bears do play on Sunday night. So I do think it's going to be a little tough for the Packers to get a win. I do think it's going to be tough for the Packers, but the Packers still have a chance as a division champion to win the division, even though the Bears clinched. And I think it all starts this week against the Ravens for the Packers. And if they can get a win, they can stay in it and get a win. For the Ravens, they just need to play their style football with Lamar Jackson and hopefully make plays that they can offensively and do what they need to do. But at the end of the day, I think Green Bay, it's on a cold night on Saturday, if it's going to be cold up there, I think it's tough for the Ravens. That being said, give me the Packers at home in the potential frozen tundra of Green Bay. Moving on. Moving on to Indianapolis, the Colts, who we recently talked about last week, and the Jaguars. Yes, you can talk about it. Jaguars, number one seed potential team after they won in Denver 34-29. A game the Jaguars won. The Jaguars currently have a chance to be the number one seed, which would be shocking. At the beginning of the year, way back when, just like 3-4 weeks ago, was the Colts. Now that Daniel Jones is down, Philip Rivers comes in. Colts have not won since Philip Rivers come in the last 2 weeks. The Jaguars and Trevor Lawrence, they have a chance to wreak some havoc against teams at the end of this month. But who knows? 2 weeks left, we'll have to go and see. But personally, I think the Jaguars and Colts matchup can be one of those matchups, which is a tough matchup to predict. Because Philip Rivers, he'll find his way, I think, eventually. It might be this week in Week 17, it might be in Week 18. Who knows if Philip Rivers will find a win this month, since we're coming out of retirement. But for Jaguars, Trevor Lawrence, they're playing well lately. They know how to win. They've won 6 straight. At the moment, they have a chance to even make the playoffs as is and be a good playoff team. With that being said, I think the Jaguars go on the road and win a big road game on Sunday. So give me the Jags in Indianapolis on Sunday. Moving on to the Seattle Seahawks. Sam Darnold, the first place Seahawks in the number one NFC North, NFC seed at the moment. They had to Carolina to play Bryce Young and the first place Panthers out of the NFC South, which is by far one of the most interesting two teams in the league. But I'll say this, NFC West stacked up Seahawks, Rams, and 49ers. 49ers and Seahawks both won over the weekend. Both have 11 wins. Both have 11 plus wins. Seahawks have a chance to be number one seed. But the NFC West is so stacked, you can pretty much say if the 49ers and the Seahawks and the Rams all finish with the same record, the 49ers will have the tiebreaker to be the number one seed. And that's why I think NFL in the next collective bargaining agreement needs to come up with a plan to make it even. If you finish with the top 3 records in the NFC or the AFC, you win. You get those 3 seeds automatically, 1, 2, or 3. I think they should do that in the NFL. But who knows? Panthers, though, they're coming in a surprise team after beating the Buccaneers, after playing the Buccaneers a few weeks ago. And they're coming in. The Panthers are one of the hottest teams in the NFC South. Can they wreak havoc and do what they need to do and win a division title? Who knows? The next 2 weeks in the NFC South might be one of the best weeks ever that we've watched or witnessed. With that being said, give me the Seahawks as road warriors coming up with a big win in Carolina, as I'm going with another road team. That's 4 on the day for this week in Week 17. What next? Week 17. Who can stop me from picking road teams? I don't know. No one can. One more game to predict. Sunday afternoon in Buffalo. The Bills. Josh Allen going up against the Jalen Hurts and the Eagles. A potential Super Bowl 60 preview. Will it be a Super Bowl 60 preview? I don't know. The Eagles got a tough win against the Commanders on Saturday. A game they had to win in the last few weeks. For me, it's been tough picking the Eagles games, and tough when I pick their Eagles, because the Eagles have been a team they've not looked so good. For the Bills and Josh Allen, Bills also have a chance to be a number one seed in the AFC. They just need to get past New England over the next few weeks. If they can, they've only split the season series with the Patriots, which has been interestingly enough, or played the season series. So for Buffalo, playing at home, Josh Allen, their final home game, I believe, this weekend, or I think. But if there's a playoff chance in Buffalo, playoffs, they'll be playing at home. Hopefully, if they get to a playoffs, a good spot, if they can. If this is the last game of their stadium for the Bills, it's going to be one that they have to win their final game at home. And can the Bills win a game here? Yes, I do think the Bills and Eagles, this game could be one of those games where it's another one-score game potentially for the Eagles to play in, no matter if they win or lose. I always say this, Eagles have been tough when it comes to one-score games this year and hard to predict. But I think the Bills and Josh Allen find a way. I think this game's going to be high-scoring at the end of the day. But I think the Bills find a way to get the job done and win on a Sunday. Here's the prediction. Here's a pick the pick recap I'm taking this week, starting out on Christmas Day, taking the Lions and Jared Goff on the road in Minnesota. In Kansas City, I'm taking the Broncos and Bo Nix against Chiefs. In LA, I'm taking the Chargers and Justin Herbert against the Texans and C.J. Stroud. In Green Bay on Saturday night, taking Jordan Love and the Packers over the Ravens and Lamar Jackson. In Indianapolis on Sunday, I'm taking the Jaguars and Trevor Lawrence over Phillip Rivers and the Colts. In Carolina, I'm taking the Seahawks and Sam Darnold against Bryce Young and the Panthers. And in Buffalo, I'm taking Josh Allen and the Bills over the Eagles and Jalen Hurts. There it is with 2025 Week 17 NFL predictions. Comment below your thoughts. Who your favorite team's playing if you think they win this week. With that being said, I'll start back here next week, Week 18. But I'll have the NFL prediction quick version coming up here shortly. If you'd like today's video, please remember to watch, like, subscribe. Don't forget to tell your friends to do the same if they're not done so yet already. And also don't forget to hit that notification button below so you know when there is a new video. With that being said, have a good day. Stay safe. Peace out. I'll see you right back here in the next episode. Week 18, next Tuesday, final week of the regular season. I'll see you then. Bye for now. Have a good day. Stay safe, everyone. And I'll see you in the next week. Bye.